Introduction to the Manifesting Your Dreams course with Philip Montrose. That's me and my wonderful wife and partner, Jane.
Hello.
Hey, this is part of the online coach healer program, Manifesting Your Dreams, and congratulations, you manifested this webinar. That's a good start, isn't it? And Jane and I have been developing this program and other coaching and healing approaches, tools, knowledge, original processes over a few decades now. And we've helped a lot of people with their personal and spiritual growth in the process. And manifestation is a key part of it. Manifesting is a key element of development, as we will share today in this overview of this 12-week course coming up very soon, February 9th at this point. And stay around till the end, because we're going to have I think, very interesting, probably dynamic demonstration of one of our original processes called the Belief Buster process, in this case for manifesting. I think manifesting abundance is what we're going to be looking at today. So that'll be exciting. It's a 60, 70-minute webinar here, so stay around for that for sure. And you get a lot of good knowledge, tips, stories, ahas along the way. So what is manifesting? That is making things evident, displaying, showing up. So people want to show up more, better health, wealth, relationships, career. That's all part of it. Why? Well, that's going to make your life more valuable and help other people in the process and help the planet, so you to get lost in all the world's problems and lost in your own problems. And that's part of the reason that we have coaching and healing in this training. And the overview webinar today will kind of show you how we do that. So why don't people manifest more? Why do they fail? Well, I'll give you three quick reasons here real fast. One is they don't know enough about it. They're not learned, educated enough about it, which is what we're going to share some insights for you today. So I'm glad you're here for the whole webinar. Also, people do a hit or miss approach, kind of random. So maybe they do some things and then they don't. And they're not sure even what worked and what didn't work. And third, they have no or little support. So they're missing those three key elements: the education, the being systematized and consistent, and the support. Over the years, we've helped people manifest all kinds of things through our individual sessions, publications, and particularly this coaching program, healing program, the one that we're giving an overview of today. Things like physical problems. We've helped people with fibromyalgia, weight loss, allergies, chronic back pain, people helping their incomes, because as part of it is the intent of what you want to manifest. People have manifested quite a bit of income, sometimes money, sometimes personal, professional relationships, a career, starting one, enhancing one, finding one. And the relationships with the students, the people who kind of take this course, if you're interested in this, you're one of those kind of people. You're rare and hard to find, much less have a wonderful ongoing relationship with. So that's a wonderful manifestation. And there's just a lot of tools for knowledge about coaching, healing, spiritual growth, manifestation, and much more. So just there's this will kind of give you kind of a feel for it, and I'm bringing Jane here in a moment right after this. One of the ladies who took our program, this coaching and healing, manifesting your dreams, which is part of the larger coaching healing certification program, she said, I spent 2 years searching for these courses. I knew I was looking for something, but wasn't sure what until I came across them. It's helped me enormously and in unexpected ways. It provides structure to an area that is traditionally quite ethereal and difficult to put into meaningful processes. I don't know of any other courses, even remotely like these, with the scope they have. The program has literally ignited the light within. It's for anyone who is seeking a deeper understanding of who we really are and what we are here to do. These courses are the bridge into the bigger picture for those who have an awareness that there's more to life than meets the eye. Jen Peters, she took our program a couple years back, transformational healer. She went from a corporate job and a difficult relationship to her, in this case, a career in helping with coaching and healing. And so you'll get a kind of a flavor of all this, of what people are talking about and what we're talking about as we go on here step by step. So I think this is a give you an overview, Jane, we have this transformational triad. Jane, why don't you briefly explain that to everyone?
Okay. Well, as it says at the top, enjoy life to the fullest. And looking at it today, it always brings me back. We've had actually, beyond all the time that we've had in this particular program, we have more than 30 years in the field now. And the thing that really motivated us initially was the desire for a greater life. I was an architect, Philip was a teacher. On the outside, we were pretty successful. We had the house, the cars. We had dogs, not no children, but we had our dogs, the vacations. Everything was in place, but we felt like personally, I felt like I was dying inside. Philip had his own kind of version of that. And so we were looking to manifest something that was dramatically different.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, we started studying things: holistic hypnotherapy, Reiki, NLP, many things over the years, many things. And of course, when EFT came along, we wrote one of the first books on it actually in 1998, and have developed since then our own holistic approach to it. But to go back to the transformational triad, when we started teaching the program, originally it was holistic hypnotherapy, and it has evolved into a whole group of kind of holistic processes and themes that together create a synergy for creating a magnificent life, really. And it is the self development part, kind of like Jen Peters was suggesting, answering those big questions. It addresses that big question: who am I? Dream development, it addresses the big question: why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
And then the purpose development part is: where am I going? And there is actually within that, there's a wholeness within the three courses that is like a very complete system. So the self development is our Heart of Success course. Dream development is manifesting your dreams. That's the one that's coming up that we'll be talking about today. And then the purpose development is awaken to your true purpose. And it really is, it's about tapping into what's really possible, tapping into Philip mentioned the heart. The heart to us is the essence of the whole thing: heart and soul, following your heart and soul, which sounds simplistic, but it's actually very profound. And we
Mm-hmm.
do within this, there are very specific tools and techniques that, as Jen Peters mentioned, um, that you don't see in many places. So
Mm-hmm.
we're very proud of that, and the triad to us is really meaningful because it is a way for people to live life to the fullest, whatever that means to them.
Right. And that takes us, we're going to go through real briefly the 12 weeks of this course coming up starting February 9th of Manifesting Your Dreams. And we'll share a lot of insights and stories for you along the way to give you a flavor of it, and then do that healing demo with the Belief Buster process. So rolling into week one, Jane?
Right. And the way it generally works with us is we alternate teaching. And so this is I generally teach this first class. And Philip mentioned the coaching matrix there, because the coaching matrix is it is actually our 7-step manifestation process that we use as a basis for all of our courses, because they all relate to manifesting in their own ways. And it is a unique roadmap that we've created over the years, developed based on all of our experience personally, and then as we began teaching classes with what we learned with our students. And we'll be going sort of through that. We'll give an overview of that in the steps that we're going to talk about today. It goes very deeply, very specific. It's a very specific guide that answers a lot of the questions that people have about things like, why isn't this working for me? And we have step-by-step processes and focuses that really help to make things happen. And it pinpoints specific keys for manifesting in all 7 steps of the process. So we have that. We go into that in the first class, along with a, it's actually a process, a healing process that we developed for those who know EFT, which many people do. Um, this one is similar to EFT in that it's fast and effective and very easy to do. It is a completely different thing, though. It's a completely different idea based on NLP of reframing and anchoring. And it's so powerful. We're actually now also referring to it as the apex healing process because it helps you to reach the apex, kind of the height of your potential. And it brings in really wonderful insights along the way. So that's one of our basic processes that we teach in this course and use along with EFT. Those are our 2 main kind of starting points for healing. We always figure also we want the fastest, easiest, and most advanced ways of doing things. So if you can do a little tapping, EFT tapping, if you know about EFT or this reframing and anchoring process, and it works for whatever is happening, then why not just go ahead because it can be very fast. Sometimes though it doesn't work. And it really is, I think, if you want to go take a deep dive and become highly effective, that's where the other tools come in. Along with actually, and we'll be talking about this a little today too, I think at a certain point in our development, all of us want to know more. We want to know more than, well, I have this, I'm tapping and now it's gone. We want to know more like what's really happening deeper within me. And so we go there too. But this is where we start.
And that takes us to week 2. These are weekly classes. Tuesday is a class for about 90 minutes where we teach this, and then practice on a lab on Thursday where you practice a technique with a partner. So week 2, we go into soul centering, which is the cornerstone of our whole program, not only manifesting, but the 1-year coaching healing program. And the Manifesting Your Dreams is a 4-month course, by the way, 3 weeks on, 1 week off for the training live, with all classes are recorded. So soul centering is a key to this experience, to manifesting and to spiritual growth. It's good and essential for healing and for awareness and for manifesting and much more. And that's kind of why you're here, to embody your soul and follow its direction and use it more consciously. And another thing we teach in week 2 is what we call the 12 principles of manifestation. When we get our feedback forms, that's often a highlight of the course. There's 12 principles that you can use as a checklist for manifesting, as a nice kind of diagnostic assessment tool. And things like desire and expectation and will and your imagination and many other ones. There's a whole series of them. So it's a good checklist, and it's a way to kind of know where you're on and off track, to pinpoint things that you can focus on, you can become more aware of, you can become more soul-centered and heal in some cases. Reminded me of quickly of a story. Cynthia, who took our program, as I said, we've been offering this program, developing it for over 20-25 years. In the early stages, she came to our home office where we were giving it early when we moved to the Central Coast, California. And she was kind of peeking into the class and saying, this interests me, but she was kind of new to it. She used to be a lawyer, very left brain, was in what she called a difficult marriage. That was I think the nice way to say it. And would like to really change her life, actually badly. But as she kind of listened and opened up to this, as maybe some of you are, or some of you are now or already have, this is where she was being led by her heart, her soul. And here's the big thing: she followed it. Many people either ignore it, don't hear it, postpone it. Uh, and that's okay. I mean, there's not a right or wrong. I mean, you could go back to your following your soul in a year, 2 years, or maybe next lifetime, whenever. But if you do it now, we find it much more rewarding. Not that everything is perfect and easy, but anyways, by the time she finished her course, she was on her way. She healed many things. She ultimately changed that relationship and got rid of that one, which wasn't working, and became actually a coach. She became, I think, a coach for the county of, which she really enjoyed too, and more. So that was week 2. Just a quick story. Going on to week 3, Jane.
I just going back to Cynthia, the woman you were just talking about.
Yeah.
I think one of the interesting things with her too is that when she started, she thought she was taking a course so that she could help other people. In other
Right.
words, so that she could
People
help
often
other
say that.
people to change. And
Right.
then when she got into it, she realized that it starts with you. It starts with her, and that was such a profound thing for her. And she really opened up to it beautifully.
Yeah, it was
Um,
wonderful.
but as Philip said, some people are not ready.
Right.
As Philip mentioned, there's no judgment about where people are. This is for the people who feel guided to it.
Yeah. In the
And
meantime, enjoy the ride of this webinar because I think you'll get a lot out of it.
right, right. So actually following the roadmap, just so you get a kind of a sense of the big picture of that, the first step is setting your course, which is really week 1 of this course. And then the second one is uncovering your heartfelt joy, which is week 2. And then were we switching to week 3 now?
Yeah, and we're week 3 now.
Yeah, and then so that one goes into connecting with your heartfelt dreams, which is goal setting, really. And we have a very unique approach to goal setting. We have something, the basis of it, we start with something we call ground rules, because there are a lot of shortcuts. There are things that apply to everything that you're going to manifest, and have a lot to do with belief. So you could say, for example, I create my dreams with joy and ease. I'm in this flow with joy and ease, and that's the way it works for me. Because if you believe life is difficult, it is, right? I mean, I think
Mm-hmm.
most of us have been around enough that we understand that what we believe, you could call it intention, although in most cases it actually is just that people haven't gotten to the point of intending it, and truly, actually, honestly believe that life is difficult, or things never work for me, or I'm unlucky. So your ground rules are things like that, like um, from a spiritual place, like I realize that everything is in divine order, and I follow the divine plan. That could be in your ground rules, but it's completely up to you. So we have the ground rules, and then end up with a focus list for each person, because you can't just manifest everything you want probably at one time. And then what we call essential whys, which is understanding, in addition to what you want, why it is you want it.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, if you're manifesting from your heart, from a place that actually is going to be purposeful for you, then you have to understand why it is, and that makes sense on that level, rather than I want to impress so and so. That's that's a different thing. It's really about it welling up, your dream welling up from deep within you.
Mm-hmm.
And then as a technique, generally in each class and each week we have one process or technique, which may be
Mm-hmm.
coaching. Like, this is a coaching wheel. We teach how to use coaching wheels and many other things.
Mm-hmm.
um, in other cases, they're healing processes, more often healing processes, some very specific ones that are oriented towards things that really are effective for people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's week 3, and then it goes. Philip will be talking about week 4, which is clearing resistance, and here's where we get into the healing. If things aren't going smoothly, then
Yeah.
something is blocking.
So in this case, we start with some communication skills to get you deeper into the healing techniques, which are based on NLP, neuro linguistic programming, which some of you may have learned before in different ways. And you want to be able to communicate not only as part of manifesting in itself, but coaching and healing. and being able to get clear on what you want and how to get there. We have members and exercise every week. Jane mentioned we have a body posture alignment, which I'll just give you a real mini micro flavor of it. So if you think of, um, if you listen to the words overwhelm, lockdown, fear, no, never, notice, your emotional state, notice your body, just, and, or or you can think of words and the feelings with love and heal and open, inspire, manifesting your dreams. And notice again your feelings and your body posture. You may want to make kind of a note. Most people will notice the first one shuts you down. You go into retreat, kind of hunch mode, survival mode, and the next one opens you up for thriving mode. So part of manifesting is getting beyond just physical survival and connecting with your soul and all the possibilities that you're here to explore, if you're willing to open your heart and listen and get support to do so. So that was week 4 in a nutshell. Week 5, Jane.
Um, this is about well, getting getting free consultations. The free consultation idea is um, offering like a strategy session. We offer sometimes free strategy sessions, or getting started with a new client, to both to clarify for you what it is that they want, and also to clarify for them what it is they really want and what's preventing them from getting it, because it is the things that are preventing the person from getting what they want that they're coming to you for. So this is a way that you can clarify both for them and for yourself what's important, and then to help them to take their next steps. So it actually involves a specific coaching sequence, which is probably the most powerful coaching sequence we've ever seen. We don't use a lot of quote coaching sequences, but this one is very powerful. We use it a lot with new clients and for other purposes, that it can completely turn a person around in terms of what they believe is possible for them, and then inspire them to move forward. Philip mentioned the word inspiration when he was talking about the positive words, and it really is, in terms of manifesting, the goal in as we get towards the final steps is to get to a place where you're inspired to create this thing that you want. Like you're so excited about doing it that you can't wait to start, or you just every day. For me, it's just amazing to me from the time that we really started this, and it actually started with, for me, with the soul centering, because that's where I started building belief in myself. um I went from not wanting to wake up in the morning and just really kind of trudging my way through the day, to a place where I'm just so excited about life. I can't wait to get up in the morning. I get up early, and I enjoy every day. So and that is that idea of living to the fullest. So this is where we get people into understanding what's going to create that for them.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of other programs use a variation on this as a core, sometimes business building tool, because it's so valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And so that takes us to the next week 6, midway here, Introduction to Hypnotherapy and NLP Representation Systems. As Jane mentioned earlier, we started off years ago, 1990. We got our original hypnotherapy training, and we developed it into what we called holistic hypnotherapy, which we started early on developing our own techniques to help people. And a lot of them were very spiritually based, and we've added that into it. But what you'll learn in this, if you know hypnotherapy, some of it will be a real concise review. If it's new to you, it'll be a wonderful introduction to it with the key elements, because we've sort of made the essentials, boiled it down so you can learn the essence of it concisely, quickly. Obviously, you could spend a whole year on hypnotherapy alone, but this integrates well into the coaching, healing, the EFT tapping, the reframing and anchoring, the other things. and with key elements of suggestion, trance, changing your brain waves, and visualization. And the modalities that what are called the representation systems is your inner senses, your inner seeing, your inner hearing, your inner feeling, and even your inner tasting and smelling. So just to get a quick micro exercise of that again. So think of something, a time you were successful, just in your mind. Think of a time you were successful. Okay. So now, as a what's called metacognition, or an awareness of what you just experienced, how did you perceive that? How did you, quote, think of it? Did you see it? Did you hear it? Did you feel it? You may have done a couple things uh, simultaneously too. So that's part of it, and that's a real quick taster. But as you become more aware of yourself, you hone your senses. So even if you, quote, can't visualize, you realize you can to some extent. And that's a key tool for manifesting and coaching and healing, developing your inner senses. Jane, week 7.
Yeah, and now we're going more deeply into the hypnotherapy area, and this one, imagery is very powerful. Um, there's that idea, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and it actually is true.
At
If
least
you
1,000 words.
if you associate an image with something that's occurring in your life, it has a lot within it. Like we'll say, um, people often use metaphors when they're talking. They do it unconsciously, but they'll might say something like, "Well, it's been so difficult for me lately. It feels like I'm in jail." And if you can actually then go into that as an area, well, what's it like in that jail? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What are the sounds in there? Going back into what Philip was talking about, when you bring the senses in, it makes the experience richer and more real. And then you can transform it, which is the goal that we use. Um, so that's a kind of one way of looking at using imagery. In this week of the course, we actually teach a process for going to the perfect place for whatever it is that you want, like for feeling less stressed, for healing this problem that I have, for creating a more abundant life, for it could be anything, virtually anything. I think a person could build a whole practice on this one technique that is so amazing because you don't have to know anything about anything. You're helping the person to understand how they can find within themselves the solution to whatever the issue is, because it's all there. And we haven't said much about what we consider to be the value of a holistic approach, but we have, over the years, we have settled on that as kind of the basis of our work because it seems to be the most objective. If you understand that everything is connected and everything has meaning, and it's as true within each of us as it is in the outer world. It's the part, if you maybe relate to the energy systems, the 7 chakras, the layers of the energy field, the meridian system, everything in that is connected. Every part of the body, the heart, the lungs, the digestive system, they all have meaning. Your legs, your feet. And so we actually make those associations a lot. And this is another way in using imagery of bringing out that meaning that actually is there, that the person understands it, but they don't understand it at a conscious level, and it brings it out and actually can resolve things in amazing ways. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a great process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, healing imagery is very powerful.
I want to mention something that this might sound silly, but I have to highlight Dr. Jenna Foster. I love your background. You must be a very creative person. I'm artistic, and I love the
Yeah,
colors and the whole
you
thing.
can't tell.
That looks
Yeah.
so joyful to me. I can't help but mention it because I keep looking at it.
Okay, week 8.
Well,
Yeah, 10 essential qualities for successful sessions. So when you're working with people, and some people take this course because they maybe want to start a career, may enhance a career, but even if you're just communicating with people, certain qualities will make you more effective and more enjoying the experience. But just first of all, just being present is one essential quality. Being and they're being concrete, being immediate. Uh, so looking at these is a way of, again, a kind of assessing where you are, how effective you are. One of them, which this is one that you may not be aware of that much, is called confrontation, which you might wonder, like, why would you be, in a coaching or healing or confronting? Well, that you want to do it in the right way when it's necessary. That would be one that would be like kind of a rare one to use, except if that's your style. John Bradshaw, the therapist, the inner child champion years ago, he had a therapist. He said he called him a mean bastard because he would always call him out, would always confront him. That was what he liked. But you may not like that, but there may be a time that you have to sort of be direct with people. uh, and then similarly, the toxic subpersonalities, you can be, and this may be an area that you need to heal, like being too much of a pleaser or too judging, or too much of a savior. So there's these different qualities that you can slip into.
Trying to
Oh,
save people, that's
yeah, while you're
very
trying
common.
to trying to help them, when you're actually making it muddier, making it worse.
Right.
So that's a very fascinating, and these are all very practical hands-on tools. There is a lot of spiritual knowledge and transformational information, but it's a very hands-on, it's both a left and right brain course that opens your mind and opens your heart. In fact, you have to open your heart to even take the program.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And that is, it really is, it's about being effective therapeutically,
right.
which I think within that, as Philip suggested, you can learn a lot about yourself also, and then
Yeah,
be be able to be present in a way that is effective with others.
yeah, evaluate your strengths and weaknesses in those areas. So
Right.
week 9, Jane.
Right. So now we've we took kind of a deep dive already into the healing part. And step 5 on the roadmap is eliminate the hold of the past. So now we're going into age regression and past life regression, which are both hugely important. It's interesting working with people with, like I mentioned, with reframing and anchoring and the EFT, holistic EFT. It's often unnecessary to really go into the details, but it is critically important when it's needed, because a lot of times it's necessary to go back and find out specifically what the difficulty is associated with. And so it also, again, is illuminating. So people, I think, who are further along in their development, who want to understand what's really happening deep within themselves, appreciate having that extra information and understanding of what makes them tick. Because it's interesting, many people, and you probably have heard this, something like this, in terms of awareness, it's like this iceberg where maybe 5% is above the surface, and 95% of what's happening and what's kind of causing them to be who they are and do the things they do, it's below the surface and they have no idea what it is. So we call it being on autopilot. They're just on autopilot and triggering things, are triggering reactions rather than having intentional responses.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want is to increase awareness, and there's nothing judgmental about this. In fact, it's freeing. We judge ourselves. I think that's one of the things that keeps us down. We don't believe in ourselves. We think there's something wrong with us. We're not good enough, or we're flawed, or whatever it is. And because in the essence of it, that's what's actually preventing us from blossoming. And what we want to do is to access information like this that's going to help us to find out what's happening so that we can free ourselves.
Yeah, it can sometimes be quite below the surface, as Jane was saying,
Right,
which
for
takes us into
sure.
week 10, which is a follow up with that previous one about age regression, which often leads into inner child awareness. So, different
Right.
parts as you grew up, things happen, sometimes traumatic things, which are still lodged in your body and your emotions and your reactions. and in a safe environment. It's a wonderful environment because there's a small group of people like you. Amazing things can happen. We have these practices every week, like an inner child practice on that lab that week. And it's not only, quote, learning a technique, it's in a supportive group. There's often a lot of ahas and transformations and life-changing experiences people have in these little practice labs. And if you do them every week over time, that's why there's a lot of spiritual growth and transformation. And we teach the stages of spiritual growth as part of the program, and you can move through them
Mm-hmm.
or advance. So inner child, you go back and if you're reactive, if something really makes you angry and you don't know why, if something makes you quite sad, you have outbursts.
Yeah, why is he acting like a 3-year-old?
Yeah,
Well,
why did I just
he
burst out? Why did I just why did I get so reactive when Jane said that? She said, because there's something in probably in inner child somewhere in my experience that is hurt, that is wounded, that is being protective. And through these very powerful tools that you'll be learning, the EFT, the reframing and anchoring, and the coaching techniques, you can find a way to recognize, identify them, neutralize them, reparent, and start loving yourself so you can manifest more. Because if your inner child is crying out and screaming and crying, it's going to be hard to manifest a better life sometimes.
right. Yeah. And really, spiritually, the journey, the essence of the journey is taking all of these parts of ourselves that have become disconnected from our wholeness and bringing them back in. Because we have, if say, we have a traumatic childhood or experience in our childhood, and that aspect of the self becomes separated from the truth, the soul's truth, it's in the dark, and we want to bring it back into the light. So we're just gradually bringing these different pieces of ourselves back. So
Mm-hmm.
the age regression, past life regression, all of these techniques going into the past are helping us to bring these parts back
So you can live
and
in
to
the present.
realize, they're magnificent, because we all are magnificent. We just don't know it.
So then you can live more in the present and create a much better future. And one way to do that is the next process, the belief buster process. One of the original processes, like many of them that we developed, that you would only find in this program or where other people have learned our processes and are using them.
Right. Right. And this is step 6 on the roadmap, which is shifting into manifestation mode. And we have the belief buster process here because it's another real priceless jewel for setting ourselves up to take inspired action. Um, if we don't believe something is possible, then it's not. So belief is a huge part of it for ourselves and for those that we work with. And this is what we're going to be actually demonstrating. So
We're going to
it's a
demonstrate
really
this
great
in
one.
about
Yeah.
5 minutes here. So hold on, and you'll get a direct experience of this and the power of this little simple, really to do process.
Right. And that's going to take us actually to step number 7, which is starting to take inspired action.
Taking inspired action. And that
Right.
we have a process called the brightest possible future, where you're envisioning your best future, which of course would include your manifestations, right? So this is taking you from being stuck in the past, healing your past so you can use it, be free to be in the present and go forward to your brightest possible future. So there's a process that you would learn and practice, and there's different ways to take action, and that can be under the more the coaching field. The coaching and the healing, the coaching is more the masculine action supportive part. The healing is more the feminine nurturing supportive part. You really need them both to have the best outcomes, is why we teach both coaching and healing in this Manifesting Your Dreams course, which is part of the bigger Coach Healing online certification program.
It's kind of interesting because in a way, what we realize is you can't have one without the other. If you
Right.
just have healing without actually the action aspect being highlighted, then nothing's going to happen. Or if you have the action aspect without actually having the deeper understanding of where you want to go, you can spend a lot of time taking action and getting nowhere
Mm-hmm.
because you aren't actually addressing what's deep in your heart that wants to manifest, that wants to
Mm-hmm.
become real in your life.
And we have this really nice bonus. Is we did a Science of Getting Rich course with EFT. We integrated the EFT tapping into it, and there's audios and handouts. And it's a very grounded, reflective way of using Wallace Wattles' classic work of Science of Getting Rich in a very practical way. So that's a really nice bonus that comes with this course. Jane, it looks like we're ready for Melissa and doing a demonstration of our Belief Buster process.
Right. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
And as we mentioned, this is really a wonderful one that we think is highly important too to be aware of for anyone who wants to really be as effective as you can be. So there's Melissa. Hi. So like, where is she? So to begin, Melissa, is there something specific, and just kind of as an aside, to really be effective, you need to start with something specific. You can't just say, well, I'm going to clear all the issues related to manifesting my dreams. Like, I want to manifest my dreams. So so it has to be something specific. So Melissa, is there something specific that maybe when you look at the belief buster process, maybe you have doubt about manifesting that you would like to highlight?
Yeah, so actually in 2 weeks and 2 days, I'm moving into my first apartment with my partner, and I'm just a little nervous financially. I feel like where I'm at, I'm just like getting by. So it's like a lot of pressure on me. And I just really want to feel like I can focus on other things and not be so worried about just getting by.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're talking about fear, and I'm just writing down. I always take notes when I'm working with clients. I write down what they're telling me because I want to be able to return to where we started at the end. And I also want to focus on the words that they're using, because are the words that we use individually have meaning. And so I do take notes. But we're talking about fear. And just out of curiosity, Melissa, how high is the fear when you focus on being worried about getting by?
1 out of 10.
Yeah, out of 10.
It's about a 7.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And another thing that I often do with the holistic approach is I ask, when you feel that fear, where do you feel it in your body?
My heart space, my chest.
Mm-hmm. And what do you notice there?
It's just like a pressure, like a weight is sitting on my chest.
Mm-hmm. And how strong is that weight on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say a 6.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Anything else about that you'd want to tell me?
I think that's good.
Okay. Okay. So with the belief buster process, what we do is we ask a series of questions, and we're leading into healing at some point sooner or later in the list of questions. So the first question then, Melissa, is, do you believe that overcoming this kind of fear is possible for some people, being worried about getting by?
Yes, I do.
Oh, good, good. So do you believe that it's possible for you to overcome it?
Yes, definitely.
Good. Okay. And do you believe that it's possible for you to overcome it today?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
I would say no.
Okay. And when you think about wanting to overcome it today, what comes to mind that would tell you it's not possible?
I guess just thinking about the years of conditioning saying the opposite. So, like, that money is hard to make, or some people get ahead while others stay where they're at. Just those types of limiting money stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How many how many of us have had those? Probably a lot of us. Yeah. So that means, since years of that means that, then what does that mean?
It means that it will take more time to undo those beliefs than just one day.
So it will take a while. Okay. Okay, so we came across something. So what we're talking about here is doubt, right?
Yeah.
So how strong is the doubt on the scale of 1 to 10?
Doubt.
Doubt that you can get it to change today.
Yeah, that's like a 9.
Okay. Okay. So with this process, we can do it with EFT or with the reframing and anchoring that we do in the course. And I usually just ask the client what they would prefer. Do you have a preference, Melissa?
I like reframing and anchoring.
Okay. And we aren't
just
specific.
As a note, if the person didn't know what those were, we would just suggest one.
Right.
If you don't
Right.
know what the two
Right.
are.
Yeah. Right. And we're not actually teaching reframing and anchoring. I'm going to go through it and do it, and you'll probably get a sense of it. But I'm not going to actually describe all the steps. So reframing and anchoring is about reframing something, like in this case, doubt, with something else. And what we reframe it with is with our own guidance and wisdom. So it's connecting with that truth in the heart. Or is there a way that you easily connect with that space, with that love you feel in your heart?
Yeah, it's kind of like a visual image of my happy place.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's start by first anchoring the doubt. So just focus on feeling that doubt for a moment. And as you do that, put your left hand on your left leg and just hold it there for a moment. And then release it and shift. Imagine you can rise above it, say, and go to that happy place. So just imagine yourself in that happy place now. And breathe in lots of that happiness, and let me know when you have a real strong sense of that.
I feel it.
Oh, good. Okay, so now just breathe in, take another big, nice breath of it, and put your right hand on your right leg. And then release it, and just allow your mind to relax for a moment. Put both hands on both places at the same time. Release the left one, the one you don't want. And just as a note, so that collapses that energy into the happy energy. And then release the right one, and let me know how that doubt is now.
I feel like the prominent feeling right now is expansive. Like I don't really notice much of the doubt.
Mm-hmm. So if we go back to the question, do you believe that it's possible for maybe to clear this this problem with being worried about getting by today?
I guess there is still a little doubt because my answer would still be that it's not possible today.
Okay, so so then let's go for another round of the reframing and anchoring.
Okay.
Okay, so focus on those feelings of it not being possible today, that remaining doubt. Can you feel that now?
Yeah.
And put your left hand on your left leg again. And then release that. And again, imagine rising above it and going to that happy place, breathing in that happy energy. And let me know when you feel that in your body.
I feel it.
Okay, and then just take another big, nice breath of it and put your right hand on your right leg. You release that and then let your mind relax for a moment and put both hands on both places at the same time. Release the left one and then release the right one. And let me know what you feel now about that doubt.
Well, physically, I felt like that weight left my chest when I removed my left hand with my exhale. And in terms of the doubt, I got this message that it only takes a moment. So why not today? And so I'm just getting into that.
That's beautiful. So that's an example of that soulfulness coming through, that the soul's light and the soul's message is coming through that, and it's beautiful. Why not today, right? And if we feel that way, it's a very different thing. So as if you're the person who's facilitating the healing, you have a much easier process now because she believes that it's possible. She's ready for it. She might be, she said that, where is the weight, the pressure on your heart now? Just out of curiosity, because you said that it was relieved. It was a 6 before.
Yeah, I would say it's at maybe a 1, just very slight.
And now the fear of not getting by, where is that? That was a 7.
I would say 0. I don't feel fearful.
Wonderful. So then it was really the lack of belief that was creating the problem, and now she had shifted that. So from that perspective then, Melissa, and this is really kind of, I guess in a simplistic way, you could say the frosting on the cake. In other words, the really great part is, what do you do now when the problem has basically gone? And so, Melissa, what does your heart say now? What message comes to you now about your situation and moving into this apartment with your partner?
Just that there's more than enough and you are supported. Yeah.
Wonderful. And when you feel that way, when you focus on there being more than enough and being supported, which is actually a great thing to focus on in general, that might be a good ground rule for the manifestation. Is there a color that would represent that, or colors, just out of curiosity?
I would say green.
Wonderful. Can you imagine surrounding yourself with that green? And now just imagine your future extending before you and moving into the apartment with your partner, and just fill that whole future with that green color, the apartment and the whole experience, and out even further into the future. And imagine now moving in with your partner. How does that feel?
Oh, I'm getting emotional. It feels amazing.
Wonderful. And so between now and then, you can continue to imagine that green light going out into the event. And while you're there, as you're moving, you can surround yourself with it and fill your apartment with it. You can fill your apartment with it now. And that's just another enhancement to a technique that it's a way of actually, we call it future pacing. It's an NLP technique. So you can actually, as she's moving through these weeks in the future, she can continue to recreate this state that she's in now in relation to this manifestation that she wants. So anything else come to mind about that, Melissa?
Just this deep sense of relaxation, no fear, no doubt.
Wonderful. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for being open to sharing with us and being vulnerable and and also to having that experience. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I'll definitely be using that green color energy the next few weeks. I love that.
Good, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Melissa has taken a couple courses with us in the coaching healing, not the manifestation one coming up that she's enrolled in, but in life purpose and heart of success. So just to give people kind of an overview, you find in the belief buster process, the area that the belief is challenged, you're doubting at which level, can anyone do it? Can I do it? Can I do it today? And start to work there. So you're shifting your outlook, so you can attract different things. And when you're in a different place, different things will come to you. Preparedness meets opportunity. Your prepared mind, your heart is open, and in a grounded way. And that's why we do coaching techniques and taking action, as we said. So this is one part of a bigger manifestation process too, of how to go about it. But it's an important piece. Jane, did you want to add anything else about that?
Um, I would say in relation to the reframing and anchoring, that was a good example of using that technique. It is a very highly effective way to shift where there's a block, and it works. For those who know EFT, it works just as well as EFT, if not maybe a little better in a way, just in that it actually is focused on connecting. What you're doing is you're accessing the soul's guidance in the process. So it leads you right into that frosting on the cake.
Yeah. If you figure you have a soul, which I'm sure everyone here does, and that you're connected with it and it's guiding with you and it's important, then you want to get deeper connected with that for guidance and direction, so you're on track. And that takes us sort of to the close here, and the coaching and healing certification program begins February 9th. I know some people might be considering that, and there's that tiny url.com/HOL coach, and you can call us. People from all walks of life take this program. It's good for spiritual growth, tremendously good for that alone. And then some people want to enhance their career or whatever they may be doing, or starting a career in coaching and healing. And part of it will show you your next step and what do you want to manifest. That might be a career. What is it going to be? Well, if you are more heart-centered, which means more soul connected, you will get a lot of insight and support in a small group like this, where Jane and I are teaching directly, and there's questions and answer periods after every class, and you're working in a small group with people like Melissa and a small group of other people who are very supportive that you get to know. So it's a very good way to learn and grow, and it's a unique program. It's a hands-on program. It's not for everyone, but for people who are drawn to this, a soulful, heart-centered approach to manifestation and coaching and healing, it's a very good choice. Jane, did you want to add to that?
Well, it's a lot of fun.
It is fun too. Yeah.
The courses are a lot of fun. I think it's interesting because we have been doing this for now more than 25 years, in offering this program from kind of its early beginnings, which is very different actually, but it never is boring to us now. And I think that's something I appreciate so much about this work, doing this work, is that there's always more to explore. There is so much depth in us. And there's so much room for growth, and just actually allowing that magnificence within each of us to emerge, that it is really, I just enjoy, I can't imagine anything I would rather be doing than this.
Yeah, it's great.
And so I think for a person who is drawn to this kind of a thing, it is probably more than you would imagine. In terms of its depth and the beauty of what you're going to experience.
And this manifestation course is a 4-month course, part of a whole 1-year program of 3 courses. And I don't know, maybe Melissa, if you want to share a little bit what your experience has been like, that might give people a flavor of things too. And there are people from all walks of life who take it. There's business people, there's lawyers, there's realtors, there's coaches, there's healers, there's teachers, a lot of artists, because Jane's very artistic, so she attracts those people, kind of people too, teachers. Melissa?
Yeah, so I had started a copywriting business right after grad school in a totally unrelated field, but even though I was pursuing my own path, something still felt off. I just didn't feel passionate about what I was doing. And I don't really know what drew me to do this, but I was Googling life coaching programs and I came across yours, and reading through curriculums, nothing compared to it to me. And I think it was about 6 months since I found it until I actually joined, and I could not stop thinking about it. And then I finally got on the phone with Philip, and it's just been amazing. Like the people I've met, it's hard to even call them practice sessions because they truly are so healing, and all the personal growth for me, all of the healing techniques I've learned for myself have been amazing in itself, but now it's given me this passion to help give others that same feeling that I was lacking too. And now I'm just so grateful for that, for this experience, for everyone I've met, for you, Philip and Jane. It's truly awesome.
Yeah, thanks for that,
Thank you.
Melissa. Yeah, there's a lot of
And
laughter, a lot of tears, a lot of sharing, a lot of transformation, a lot of learning, personal and professional and spiritual growth.
did you see also David's here? I don't know if he would want to.
Oh, Dave, okay, Dave,
If
you want to
I can't
share?
see all the. He
Dave,
was
you
here a
want
minute
Sure.
ago.
to, yeah, Dave,
Yeah, I
pipe on in
apologize
here
for
if you'd
being
like
late, but
here.
I was
Yeah,
in
go
another
ahead.
appointment and just couldn't get away. Yeah, if this is your first course, you will not be disappointed. This will be my third course, and it has been amazing. As Melissa said, even the practice sessions, Melissa and I have had a couple of practice sessions together, and I have grown so much in those. They're very healing, and they open so much of my heart. And I have been an ordained minister most of my career, and this has just opened all kinds of new avenues for me to want to just give more of the love that I want to share in this world. It is so needed right now, and it is a wonderful. The people that come to the class, we are just. I don't know. It's like a family. It's like a team, and I hear from them. I've had COVID, and I have heard from so many people, and emails, and just just different. And from Philip and Shane, it's just a wonderful group of people, and there's all kinds of extra things that come along through it that I can't talk to you about. It would take the whole. It would take more
We'll
time
be
than
here
we
another
have.
hour. Oh, there.
So I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. And if you have questions, don't ever hesitate to ask because they'll get you answers.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, it can be a lot of fun. It can be like some people say coming home, or you're talking my language, or the universe is kind of speaking to me. All those things may resonate with you, and if they don't, that's fine too. But it is a program that, for the right person, it's a unique opportunity that I think you'll be very glad that you pursued. So go to the website here if you're not already there listening to the recording, and you can contact us and call us, and we can go into the details. There's different payment plans. There's different ways to pay for it, so that can be worked out in probably. And then it's just, if you're kind of being called in that direction, to follow your heart, and that's what it's about. Jane, anything you wanted to mention before we conclude here?
I just would reiterate, whatever you do, wherever you go in your life, follow your heart, because it really, the truth is there.
Yeah,
And it just is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
it is. Yeah. Okay. And there, our dog says goodbye to. So until next time, maybe we will
And this
connect
is
with you
Buddy.
in the
This is
course,
our
or
Buddy.
or somewhere else. You connect with us and maybe our dog. I don't know, but thanks for your attention, and feel free to connect with us in any way through our newsletter, through this course, or however. Hopefully you will manifest your dreams, and we would be happy to support you if you're interested. Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.